I've told Gwendolyn for years that her dad loves her, but it's not my job to convey Kody's love to Gwendolyn. It's his job.
Every talk, every trash talk, every opinion is absolutely reciprocated. I think the same thing of them. If there's one thing that I wish Robyn and the kids could understand is that we don't forgive them.
Kody just keeps sinking lower and lower. I honestly can't believe the things he's saying about his own kids. I'm floored. The man's the biggest piece of work on TV. The karmic payback he'll eventually face in this life would break anyone else, but for him, it's just par for the course. Classic case of emotional immaturity. Like, imagine telling your kids, no, you're a duty head. Seriously. That's his level of parenting. And let's not forget the victim act he's got going on, especially with his last wife standing, TLC&Robyn. He's called his kids jerks, accused them of being gossips and liars, and even referred to their anatomy as pencils. At that point, I'd be going no contact, too. He says they're jealous? I mean, it's pretty obvious why most of the OG family has distanced themselves from this guy. What's wild is he doesn't even seem to get it. He's the parent. They're the kids. It's his responsibility to fix things, to make things right. But, oh no, that requires emotional maturity, and that's clearly something he's missing. Instead, he and Robyn seem to be thriving on that us against them mindset. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X Cancel Kody. It's time, folks, in this oh-so-progressive cancel culture of ours, where everyone's suddenly an expert on mental health and its deep-rooted causes. How is it that we're still letting Kody have a platform? Seriously, as a viewer who's directly contributing to the show's success and indirectly lining these people's pockets with my eyeballs, I just can't, in good conscience, keep watching Kody and fueling his toxic presence. I'm out. At this point, the guy doesn't even deserve a voice. TLC should throw all the focus on the emotional trauma that Kody has clearly caused, thanks to some stellar parenting choices, and how to deal with that mess. But if Kody's not interested in taking accountability and humbling himself, then just kick him to the curb. It's not hard, and honestly, I'm done with Robyn and her kids too. I don't care about any of them. They've shown they'll do whatever it takes to prioritize themselves and their little tribe, even if it costs everyone else around them. It's gross, and I'm not supporting it. Disagree if you want, but I'm walking away. Agreed? I literally fast-forward through every scene with Kody and Robyn. Fire him already. He's just there to stir the pot, and guess what? Drama equals viewers. That's why he's still on the show, even though his whole narrative is as authentic as a scripted reality show moment. It's all been fake for ages. He's toxic, and he doesn't deserve the spotlight. Take Robyn and her two stepdaughters along for the ride. The show's done. The marriages are over, and we've all seen enough. One last season to show the aftermath of these divorces is all that's left. Everyone's settled into their new lives. There's no more story to tell. Honestly, TLC, if you want to try and spin off an OG3 show, go ahead. I won't be tuning in, but sure, do what you gotta do. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between last week's episode and this week's, shall we? I know. Most people hated how they handled Garrison's death last week, but I actually thought it was pretty well done. The way they captured those small, mundane moments of everyday life, only for everything to suddenly come crashing down with that phone call, it was spot on. It really nailed that feeling of being blindsided by tragedy. One minute you're going about your day, and the next, the world is upside down. It was raw and real. But this week, oh boy, where do I even begin? So we get these random, seemingly pointless clips of Kody, Robyn, and their kids just existing in Wyoming. You know, they're off doing their thing, while the rest of the family is actually, dealing with loss. Christine and David are playing cards, and suddenly emotions hit. Janelle and Savannah are at the Humane Society, and boom, the emotions hit again. But Kody and Robyn. Oh, they're just having a jolly old time on some vacation. Amusement, excitement, nostalgia, pride, the whole fun and games routine. No mention of Garrison, no tribute to his memory. Nothing. Not even a passing, "Hey, remember when Garrison used to love this place?" It was just, as Robyn so eloquently put it, fun, fun. Are you kidding me? Honestly, I almost switched the channel. I couldn't take any more of their self-centered narcissism. If they'd kept it up, I swear I was out. But thankfully, they moved back to Janelle and Savannah's Humane Society trip and actually focused on something meaningful, mourning Garrison. What a refreshing change. Now, I've seen some complaints that last week's episode wasn't all about Garrison. But here's the thing, that's actually good storytelling. Garrison wasn't just some side character in the background, he was integral to their story. One episode wouldn't do his life justice. Last week was about the shock of tragedy striking in the middle of an ordinary day. This week, it's about the family trying to go on with their lives, but constantly being reminded of their loss. Like Savannah and the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or Christine with the whole stripper named Debacle. You could feel their grief creeping back in, even in the most mundane moments. And Janelle at the Humane Society? Honestly, I was crying right along with her. That moment hit hard. Now, let's talk about Kody, because of course, he's always a mystery, right? I need to go back and rewatch his interviews. He was, I guess, emotional there. But during the trip to Wyoming, no emotions. No stories of taking Garrison there as a kid or sharing a special moment. Was that just too much for his fragile masculinity to handle? I honestly can't figure it out. Maybe he's too proud to get emotional in public? I mean, who knows? But in those sit-down interviews, he's all misty-eyed, so it's definitely not impossible. I really just don't get it. And speaking of not getting it, what was with that whole interaction where Kody was talking to Aspen? Or maybe it was someone else, but whatever. Robyn just had to turn it into some drama-filled confrontation. Seriously, what even was that? And let's not forget that Kody is somehow still managing to be completely detached from the reality of it all. I fast-forwarded through most of the scenes with him and his family in Wyoming because they were just that unbearable. No one cares about your signs, Kody, or the fact that you used to sell them when you actually had to work for a living. You're on a life-changing expedition, and yet somehow you're still missing the point. I will give him this though. I watched his diary moments, and for once, you could actually tell he was struggling with the loss. I could feel the weight of it in his words. But honestly, it's clear he's also wrestling with the guilt of missing out on Garrison's life. He can't ignore that part, even if he's trying to. At the end of the day, grief is complicated. Sometimes, you just need a distraction to keep from completely spiraling. It's not about constantly fixating on the person you've lost. Otherwise, you'd never leave your bed. That's why Christine went to a movie, probably hoping to get her mind off everything. But guess what? Grief always finds a way to creep back in. And David? He summed it up perfectly. If you feel like laughing, laugh. If you feel like being angry, be angry. Grief doesn't need to be all-consuming to be real. But don't tell that to Kody, because apparently he missed that memo. Janelle. Wow, what can I even say? She's this incredible, beautiful woman who has been through so much and still manages to be this pillar of strength. I mean, here I am, bawling my eyes out, and there she is, just being the sweet, sweet mama she is. You can see it in her kids. They're proof of everything that's wonderful about her. My heart is completely shattered for her right now. Seriously, Lord, have mercy. I'm sitting here, sobbing, watching them at the Humane Society on this week's episode. And let me tell you, I'm already a huge advocate for rescues, but this episode, it was such a beautiful tribute to Garrison, and it hit me right in the feels. Janelle's words about Savannah, Maddie, herself, and her mom really hit home. She said, "We feel things deeply, we just don't always show it." And wow, that resonated. Just because someone's smiling doesn't mean they're not hurting. This episode, Total tearjerker. Seeing this incredibly strong woman so utterly broken by grief that she couldn't even speak. My heart broke right there with hers, and Savannah, she was a rock for her mom, staying so strong in the face of it all. I totally get why Christine's girls look up to Janelle so much. She's one fierce mama bear who loves with everything she's got. It's impossible not to admire her. Robyn's latest comment about feeling like it will be a sad day seriously took me back. She's talking about burying her so-called child for the last 10 years, and all she can muster is that it might be a sad day. This is all the proof you need that she's completely indifferent. She's an absolute monster. It's clear as day that Garrison was never really her son. He was just Kody's son. In the last 2 episodes, not once has she said she is sad. It's always Kody is sad, or the situation is sad, or the day will be sad. But never, I am sad. Classic. And don't even get me started on the whole town tour with the kids, where they didn't even mention Garrison. Solomon and Ariella might not have known him that well, but Aurora and Brianna grew up with him for most of their childhood. We've seen Madison, Gabriel, and Savannah talk about Garrison, but the sheltered 4? Crickets. And now Robyn's just going to have a yucky day. Honestly, twat is too kind. I honestly feel like she's pushing her kids onto Kody because she's terrified that he'll reconnect with his other children. That's probably her worst nightmare, losing her grip on him. She can't have him bonding with the others, not when she's worked so hard to isolate and manipulate him. And her hypocrisy? It's off the charts. For years, she cried about how her kids weren't fully accepted. But here she is, the one who never accepted any of the other kids. This is the final nail in the coffin, the proof she never saw them as her own. She spent all this time playing the victim, acting like her kids were treated unfairly, when in reality, she's the one doing the rejecting. I really try to rise above it all and be the bigger person, but I just can't with Robyn. I'm convinced she's genuinely evil, and I'm not even exaggerating, evil. Having Robyn and Kody on the memorial episodes has done more damage to them than anything else they've done. There's no coming back from this. They've cemented their place as the worst people on TV. I didn't think this season could get any worse, but somehow TLC managed it. This episode was a complete disaster, and of course, it was all about Baldilocks and Sobin, who, by the way, have zero relationship with him. Baldilocks, ever the content creator, used Garrison as a storyline for the show, telling Janelle to kick them out like it was some sort of performance. And then the way they spoke to Sobin when he asked for more time with their father, absolutely heartless. They even went as far as to make fun of their actions during COVID. Oh, and Baldilocks casually mentions that he'd punch them out for getting his pencil wet. Really? That's where we're at? Meanwhile, Dayton, who they actually bought an RV for, was completely ignored. Sobin didn't even let him be part of the storyline. It's as if Garrison is just another prop for content, even after his death. They spent so much time boring us with signs they sold and how they were constructed. So much focus on them, yet no one even bothered to mention Garrison or the memories his family had with him. And the second time Baldilocks says he wants to put him in the ground. That's not just disrespectful, it's disgraceful. Why does it matter so much to him? Just make Garrison disappear. Janelle, Mary, and Christine did touch on their memories, but we barely got any time with them before we had to suffer through more of the Baldilocks and Sobin show. After this, I'm done. I'll watch the tell-all just to wrap it up, but that's it. TLC has officially hit rock bottom, and I'm not sticking around for the rest of it. Baldilocks and Robyn have turned into total thieves, draining every last bit they can from this show. Without the OG3, they're completely boring. Every scene they're in feels scripted. Honestly, it's some of the worst acting I've ever seen. And Robyn? She spent all these years keeping her kids away from the cameras, barely lifting a finger. But now, with her cut of the TLC check slipping away, She has no choice but to throw herself and her kids into the mix. That picture of Garrison, it's worth more than all the art in Robyn's house combined. TLC is finally pulling back the curtain and showing us the true Kody and Robyn. No more hiding behind anything else. They're letting us see them for what they really are, and it's not pretty. The moments that make them look bad are being included, probably because they know it balances out all the fluff and makes them look even worse. And don't even get me started on how they wasted the truly emotional moment at the Humane Society, the one where Janelle and Savannah were shown the room dedicated to Garrison and all the cats his memory helped save. That scene was beautiful, yet TLC cut it in half so we could go back to Wyoming and hear more of Kody grandstanding about his own childhood. It was a slap in the face, and honestly, the editing was just tasteless. I tried giving Kody and Robyn some grace last time, thinking maybe everyone processes grief differently. But this episode? The difference between how Kody and his former wives and kids handle the loss is glaring. Mary, Christine, Janelle, Savannah, Gabe, and Maddie all talked about Garrison's humanity, his kindness, his giving nature. It was touching and heartfelt. Then we have Kody, who can't seem to talk about Garrison without making it all about himself. I held him first. I was his father. I need to bring him home. It was honestly infuriating. This episode was a mess, and I'm done. It's time for the OG3 to move on, and for me to finally move on from this show too. Watched it twice and somehow managed to cry even harder the second time. I mean, this episode was so well done. It was almost like the producers actually cared about the family or something. Starting with Janelle was definitely the right choice. She was incredibly brave to even do this episode. And those pictures, so many beautiful shots of him and him with his family. That one of him throwing the flower petals, absolutely heartbreaking. And Gabe, major props to him for coming back on the show. Clearly, he felt comfortable enough with the producer to open up on camera like that. Not an easy thing to do. And then there was Christine, actually crying for real. Normally, she's all about the fake tears, but this time, when she quoted that movie, you could tell it hit deep. I really liked that they named the episode after the quote too. It was a perfect touch. Oh, and don't get me started on all those sky and starbarrel shots. Talk about a direct line to the tear ducts. Janelle was so refreshingly blunt about everything leading up to this, especially her struggles with depression, anxiety, and alcohol. We really need to talk about these things more when we see our loved ones going through them. Hearing Maddie talk about how they were trying to get Garrett to move closer, just a beautiful reminder that his whole family saw his pain and desperately wanted to help. Honestly, I was in the mood for a good cry, and this episode didn't disappoint. They really nailed how they handled everything. Oh, where to even start? Kody really does love talking about himself, doesn't he? Not even in a subtle way, just a constant monologue about his grief and his feelings. And I get it, grief is a thing, but can we talk about how everyone else was actually reminiscing about Garrison? The things he loved, his memories, and all Kody could do was make it about him. Like really? Am I being too hard on him? Maybe, but seriously, it was glaring. Then there's the whole sharp contrast between what the other parents were doing and Kody's activity. They were all engaged in meaningful moments, and Kody? Oh, he's preparing to watch a Wild West shootout. A shootout show at that. His kid just shot himself, and here he is, about to sit through a staged bang bang. You're dead moment. Talk about tone deaf. Honestly, I was relieved when it rained out. The optics of hopping onto a stagecoach ride for some fun when your son is dealing with a real-life crisis? Yeah, no thanks. Then you look at the quiet, real moments at home, gardening, cooking, saying grace. There's a clear difference in tone. Those little scenes with Jen, way more grounded. Meanwhile, Kody's kids, they just look so bored listening to him talk about his exterior sign business. Yawn, and that I held him first. Comment, are we 5? What does that even mean, Kody? How many diapers did you change, huh? How many bedtime stories did you tell? How much support did you give throughout his life? Last time I checked, you didn't even know that Garrison had bought a house, a car, and got accepted into school. Oh, but don't worry, Garrison's the one working his tail off and managing to succeed without a handout from his parents. Not to mention, still finding time for friends and family while doing it. Honestly, that Wyoming trip felt like it was all about Kody. The burial? Definitely just another storyline for him. At this point, I'm really done hearing him talk. And Robyn too. I think this is my last season. As usual, it's Sunday, and I've been rewatching some old episodes. But the baptism episode, 22, really stuck out, especially when Robyn starts talking about the family not doing enough, about keeping God in the family, handling jealousy, and basically not dealing with things. Remember when Janelle actually tried to call everyone together for a serious conversation? She asked if this was still the life they wanted, opened up a dialogue about what they could do to improve. And what did Robyn do? Took it completely personally, turned herself into the victim, and looked so confused, as usual, that Janelle even thought things weren't going well. Keep in mind, this was pre-COVID, so I have to wonder, what did Robyn ever do to actually make things better? She acts like she's been giving it her all and still wonders what the problem is. Here's the bottom line. The more Robyn talks, whether it's past or present, the more it's clear that her idea of polygamy was basically the same as her mother's version. She never saw a need to connect with the other wives, unless it was for the cameras. She didn't bother with the kids either, unless it served her. It's like her only real concern was making sure she got the lion's share of everything. Unless it was something for filming, she couldn't have cared less about anyone else's needs. It almost seemed like she used family money as her personal shopping spree, blowing it on random stuff just to ensure she got everything she wanted first, before anyone else even thought about claiming a piece of it. Nothing about her behavior or attitude suggests she was interested in a real polygamous lifestyle, except the kind that mirrored her mom's, where she could just live in her little bubble. I'm honestly convinced that Robyn's tears only come when reality doesn't match the fairy tale she's carefully crafted for herself. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.